In today's episode, guys, we're going to be introducing a concept called SHIFT. It's an acronym, and it's designed to help you to overcome life's biggest hurdles. So whether you're a student, you're a corporate professional, small business owner, SHIFT, this concept is going to apply to you. And it is going to be tailored to help you boost your growth, boost your productivity, and like I said before, help you to battle everyday challenges. Utilizing this method, you're going to be good to go. I guarantee it. Let's hop into it. Every defeat, every heartbreak, every single loss contains its own seed. It's a lesson on how to improve the performance of ourselves for next time. Malcolm X. So as I said in the intro, we're going to be diving into a transformative idea today. But before we actually get into the meat, potatoes, and gravy of what we're talking about, I want you to first think about the last time you tried to change something significant in your life. Take a second, think about it. Some of you probably thought of something pretty quick right away, which is great. If not, you got to take an extra second or 2 or 10 to think about it. Let me help you out here. I'm going to give you 3 words. That'll definitely help you out. New Year's resolutions. Oh, sorry, not sorry. Yeah, so what I want you to do is to reflect on those New Year's resolutions or whatever it is that you said that is going to be that significant change that you're going to make. I want you to think about it, and ask yourself the question, what happened when you attempted to make that change? Did it come to fruition? Did the change actually happen? If it didn't, ask yourself why. Was it a lack of consistency? Was it a ton of stress that happened to you? Was it analysis paralysis, not knowing where to start, information overload? What was it that really caused you to not see that goal, that fantabulous goal that you set that was going to change your life for the better? You said you were done messing around. You were done playing around. This is going to be your year. 2024 is going to be your year. What happened? What caused it? Regardless of whatever caused it, I want you to realize that those barriers that happened to you, again, whether it was consistency or a lack thereof, overwhelming stress, not knowing where to start, information overload, it can make any goal that you have seem unattainable. What if I told you there was a way to get rid of those obstacles and make our path way smoother than it is right now? Of course, you already heard about it in the introduction, and obviously you know there is going to be the solution in this episode because otherwise I wouldn't be making this episode. So, for the umpteenth time, we're going to be breaking down the idea of SHIFT. It is an acronym, and it's going to represent a series of habits that when it is done diligently, or one of my favorite words, consistently, it can significantly, now that is a lot of LY words I just used in the period of 5 seconds. It can significantly alter the trajectory of your personal and professional life. Each component of SHIFT, S, H, I, F, and T, they're designed to help you tackle the most common barriers head on. That's the most important part. Head on, not side on, not 45 degrees. We are smack dab hitting it head on like a battering ram, okay? And we're going to transform those stepping stones into success. So let's break down each part, shall we? S. Hope you all are taking some notes on this. Or if you're using a fancy AI podcast listening app, it should summarize this part for you. So follow along. S. Structured reflection. This is important as the first step because it helps to emphasize the importance of regular, dedicated time for self-reflection. If you all know, I am a very big fan of smarter goals, not just smart, but smarter goals. And the R in smarter, well, either the second R in smarter is the review. That's exactly what this is, review/reflect. We want to make sure that whatever goal that we are trying to attain is actually getting closer to being attained day by day. We want to make sure that the actions we are taking day by day are getting us closer and closer and closer to the inevitable achievement and attainment of said goal. If not, we need to pivot. Please, please, please don't be like me and realize, something's not working. Let me just double down and do it more. Because obviously that's going to work, right? Wrong. That's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again and expecting a different result. Thanks, Einstein. And so because of that, why is it that we do that? We see something doesn't work And then what do? We say, it didn't work. Let me try the same thing again, but harder. Now it's going to work. I learned that very well in college. When I went from high school to college, my study habits that I had from high school to college did not transfer 1-to-1. In fact, it transferred probably 0.1-to-1. There was very little that actually worked for me in high school that worked for me in college. So the first semester was a definite struggle. And so I realized, I need to change something about my study habits. So what did I do? I doubled down and did the same thing like an idiot. I did the same thing again for the second semester. And my grades were still bad. So I didn't learn until my second semester sophomore year, maybe I should change something that I'm doing because obviously what I'm doing is not working. Don't ask me why that didn't click after the first semester. I don't know why, but I'm just telling you that because so often in life, we will do something and it doesn't work. And so we say it didn't work. Let me do the thing that didn't work again. And it doesn't work again. And now we're sitting there like, oh my gosh, it didn't work. Of course it didn't work. And I'm saying this from personal experience. Of course it didn't work. You did the same thing again. Why do you expect a different result? The same thing happened. You took one step in front of the other and you move forward. It's like, I wanted to move backward. So let me take another step forward again. And then we're surprised we didn't move backwards. Don't ask me why I do that. Don't ask me why you do that. I don't know. Ask a psychologist. I'm not one. But structured reflection is very important because we can actually see where it is that we're going. And again, once we see where it is where we're going, we can take the time to sit back and say, are we still going down the path that we need to go down? H, the second letter of shift, habitual learning. This one is about encouraging continuous learning in small, manageable steps to get a lot of knowledge and skills over time. I read quite a bit. I'm not one of those fanatical readers who read a book a day. I don't have time for that. I mean, I know some skills that allow me to read books faster, but I don't read a book a day. Unless it's like under 200 pages, then I might be able to do that. But typically, I don't read a book a day. And the reason why I bring that up is because I take it in small, manageable pieces. I tell myself, I can't read a book a day realistically, smart goal, but I can read a book realistically a month. I can read, let's say, a 200 to 250 page book a month. If I just read 10 pages a day, I read 10 pages a day, I'm done with it in a month. 10 pages isn't going to take that long. 10 pages will take me 15 to 20 minutes, tops. That's if I'm reading slow and taking notes. That's it. But the point is, I am making it a habit, habitual, to learning. I'm making a habit of learning. So that way, every single day I'm learning something new, whether it be me reading something on the internet, asking something for ChatGPT or Perplexity, which I like using personally, or reading one of my books that are over on my bookshelf to my left, or one of the literally over 100 books that are on my Kindle app as we speak. I make it a habit of learning something new every day. How do I make it a habit? By utilizing what I love to call an IPIT, an IPIT, which is another acronym. Look at that. Who knows you're getting an acronym inside of an acronym in an episode? IPIT is an incremental positive impact task. Essentially, it is a task that is so infinitesimally small that failure is essentially impossible. So, again, reading a 200-page book in a day seems daunting. That seems just like crazy. There's no way I'm going to do that. I can read 10 pages, though. I'll take the 10 pages. I can do 10 pages. But here's the problem, though. Here's why a lot of us cannot do the 10 pages a day. Because 10 pages sounds easy, right? 10 pages is easy. But the reason why we can't do this is because 10 pages for a 200-page book is going to take 20 days. We want to read 10 pages a day, myself included. We want to read 10 pages a day and get the book done tomorrow. You can do that with a 10-page book, but you can't do it with a 200-page book. So what's the point I'm getting at here is the consistency. We have to be consistent with it. That's why habitual learning, I didn't put it as part of the acronym here, but embedded in habitual learning is consistency. It's embedded in the word habit because habits are done day in, day out, or over a continuous, repetitive, frequent basis, meaning it is done often enough. That way it just becomes a natural part of your routine. For example, you wake up and you brush your teeth. That's a habit. You take a shower twice a day. That's a habit. You eat food 3 times a day. That's a habit. You drive to work. That's a habit. You build this up over time. You don't just drive a car one day and now you have a habit of driving a car. You don't just eat food one day and now you have a habit of eating food. Habits happen over time. So it should not be any different with learning. Let's move on to the I, right? I beat that point up enough. Indulge in a digital detox. Oh boy, that's going to be pretty tough in today's climate, isn't it? Where all of us are glued to our cellular devices. I know myself. I have multiple phones. I have not the wrong idea. It's just backup phones. John in the back. Okay, I see you. Okay, it's not that kind of a phone. Okay, it's backup phones in case mine breaks. Okay, I have multiple phones. I have tablet. I have 2 computers. All kinds of stuff. Don't even ask me how many pairs of headphones I have. I don't even know. But the point is, we have a lot of technology. It's literally impossible to avoid. But what you want to do is take periods of time to just disconnect. And I understand you can't fully disconnect because you have things to do. So what I want you to do is do a very specific disconnect. Again, I've talked about this on past episodes where what you want to do is essentially prune your social media. Prune it every now and again. I did one mass prune when I started on my self-improvement journey where I went through the process of going ahead and just literally unfollowing pretty much everybody that I either didn't know or didn't provide me value of where I wanted to go at that period of time of my life. I went from over 300 something people that I was following to having a pretty even 1-to-1 ratio of following to followers, which was right at about the 110-ish mark. So I cut out over half of the people I was following, and I had to be brutal with it. I had to be brutal. Some of them, I'm not gonna lie, I hesitated a little bit because I was like, man, this meme channel is so good. I'm gonna miss these memes, but it ain't helping me right now. I can look up memes on YouTube when I want, but right now, I don't need Instagram to be distracting me with memes. So I'm gonna indulge in this digital detox and boom, popped it off. There was even a period of time in my life where I actually uninstalled Instagram for about 2 weeks? I believe it was about 2 weeks where I just uninstalled it because I wanted to prove to myself these things do not have a hold on me. I'm telling myself they're super important, but then when I reinstalled the apps, I realized there's no messages on here. I'm not missing any messages. My feed still looks the same. Nothing changed except for me having more clarity. So I got no messages for 2 weeks. I'm not missing anything. So that was me doing my digital detox. Now, it may look completely different for you, but that's just what I did. But doing this digital detox overall helps us to improve our mental health because that way we're way more clear-headed. Trust me, way more clear-headed. I don't even think you need me to tell you that. You just know you're going to be way more clear-headed if you just improve by just unplugging. That's number 1. Number 2, you increase your productivity naturally because you're spending less time on social media. So you're spending more time doing things that actually mean something. And number 3 is you're deepening relationships. You're not going crazy by texting people. So now you are essentially forced to go and meet people in real life. Oh no, in real life. You mean I have to make human contact? Yeah, you gotta make human contact, bucko. Digital detox, guarantee it's gonna help you change your life. If you haven't done it already, you should do it. And if you've done one, do another one. F in shift is for feedback acceptance. This one's tough because it's very hard to accept feedback, especially when it's on one of our weaknesses, one of our pain points, / something we need to improve. It's rough. It's rough out here trying to accept feedback. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it, but it is, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on who you ask, absolutely crucial for personal and professional development, because how are you going to know what to fix if you don't know what to fix? Last week, we talked about the comfort zone, and feedback acceptance kind of plays into the comfort zone. The reason why some of us are afraid to get feedback is because we know deep down that Pookie, Johnny, Susan, Ray, Tim, Tom, Dick, and Harry are all going to tell us about our weaknesses, about where we can improve. And we don't want to hear about where we can improve. No, sir. We want to hear all the good stuff. We want to hear we're good at this. We're a great this. We have great characteristics. We're a great team player. We have grit. We got determination. We don't want to hear, oh, they're kind of impatient. Oh, they kind of lack attention to detail. Oh, they kind of just go off on their own little silos. We don't want to hear that because we think we're great, but we're not, because we were put on this planet with other people because we have strengths that can help to strengthen other people's weaknesses, and other people have strengths that can help to strengthen our weaknesses. Not saying your weakness will turn into a strength, but I'm saying that these people will help you to make it better so it's not as much of a stumbling block as it can be. And the only way to do that is by having somebody outside of yourself tell you what's going on. This does not mean, and this does not give the right for that person who's giving you that feedback to go ahead, go crazy balls to the wall, and then just completely demean you and give you everything destructive. No, that other person also has a responsibility to tell you constructively, because they care for you out of a respect for a fellow human being, to tell you constructively, hey, I see you're struggling a little bit with this. Do you mind if I give you some advice on this? Because either I used to struggle with this and now I'm much better at this, or this is something that I'm particularly skilled at, while not boasting. This is something I'm particularly skilled at, and I can give you a couple pointers on how to get better. I guarantee you, if we just did that, the world would be a so much better place, because we'd all be out here trying to help each other, help one another, instead of us being me all the time. But that's feedback acceptance. That one kind of explains itself. It's hard. I'm not going to beat on it anymore, because it's something that's going to take time for us to actually embody and us to actually do. And I guarantee you, I'm working on it myself, man. I'm still not at the stage where it's super easy for me to accept feedback, because I really believe that I'm like the best thing on the planet, obviously. Can't you see? But no, but it still is difficult, because again, I fall into the same category as well. If I think I'm just doing a great job of a whole bunch of stuff, I think I'm God's gift to earth to go ahead and do these things. And anybody who tells me otherwise, obviously, is a hater. No, because there's usually truth buried in there. And while I said the other person has a responsibility to be kind and constructively criticize you, that doesn't mean they will. So it's still up to you as the individual to take the feedback and parse through it and find the truth within what it is that they said. It's hard. It's difficult. If you want an episode on that, I can go ahead and make an episode on that. Again, it's something that I'm still working on, but if you want it, I'll go ahead and make it. Let me know. Moving on to T in the meantime, it is trust in your word. Essentially, just be a man or a woman of your word. This is going to show self-trust by allowing you to consistently follow through on your commitments and on your promises. There's really not much else to say with that, except just whatever you say you're going to do. Otherwise, you come off as untrustworthy and people can no longer trust you. And then when you say you'll do something, people don't think you're going to do it, because you have proven that as a track record. So whatever you say you're going to do it. And if you can't, show them, hey, at least you gave it your most honest effort. That's what I got for that point. So how in the world does this actually work? Well, I have 3 examples for you. Let's start off with the small business owners. Any small business owners? Raise your hand here. Raise your hand. Well, I can't see you because this is obviously recorded and you're watching me on YouTube or listening to me through your lovely eardrums. But hey, raise your hand. If you're driving a car, raise your hand out the window. Anyway, small business owners or early on entrepreneurs, this one's for you. How does Shift help you? Well, let's start with the structured reflection. Structured reflection allows you to understand your business better and your business's trajectory. Are we serving the people that we want to serve? Are we in the markets that we want to be able to look at? Are we actually taking account of all of the potential competitors and threats that are in our space? How are we going to differentiate ourselves from our competitors so that we get the business and other people do not? That's structured reflection. Through that, you will probably find a thing or two that you need to understand better that some of your competitors do pretty well. That is an important skill to know. Kind of leads into the habitual learning, probably, maybe, sort of, kind of, because that might sort of, kind of keep you at the forefront of your industry's trends. Just super say it. You also might want to indulge in a digital detox. How in the world is this going to help you? Businesses are online. Yes, they are online. But again, like I said before, your feed should be full of things that are helping to benefit you and to help you become better in your industry. Ain't nothing wrong with a meme or two, but if your feed is primarily memes, and let's say you're in real estate and it's not primarily how to flip houses, sell houses, renovate things, or how to become a better real estate agent, you're going to fall behind pretty fast. Now, feedback acceptance. This is where, when you go throughout your business life and doing all kinds of things, when people come to you and say, I like what you said for this, but this rubbed me the wrong way. Our initial response would be, how dare you say that? You don't tell me it rubbed you the wrong way. Do you know how important this is? Do you know how much I studied for this? Do you know? Whoa, slow the roll, because there is still some truth. Now, that might just be one individual person with one data point, but at least you take in the feedback and say, okay, cool, this rubbed you the wrong way. Maybe you should just review, at the very least, review what it is that you said and see, did I say something that could have been potentially offensive? And I don't want to go ahead around purposely offending people. So let me see if there's something I can fix, something I can remedy, something I can do to fix that. Let's say you have a service-based business. If people don't like something about your service, they're leaving constant 3-star or less reviews on things, and there's a specific recurring theme happening, you should do a structured reflection and see what's going on with that. Do a habitual learning and see if there's any skills or anything that you need to be able to understand. So that way you don't have to keep doing the same thing that people don't like. Accept that feedback that people have and then put something else better out there. And of course, obviously, trust in your word. This one is kind of self-explanatory. When you say you're going to do something in your business, if you say you're going to actually come out with a product, come out with that product. If you say you're going to supply something very specific, some sort of tangible benefit guaranteed, you should be able to guarantee what it is that you offer. But let's say you're not a small business owner, you're not an entrepreneur. 'Cause I know everybody who listens to me is not an entrepreneur. What about the people working in corporate? Same concept applies. Let's apply shift once more. Structured reflection. Every single week you get your tasks, you're going to reflect on them. You're going to look, how did I complete this task? Did I complete it the best I could? Did I skip something? Did I make sure this task was done accordingly? Did I submit it on time? Did I submit it right at the 11th hour? Did I complete this to the best of my ability? Reflect on what you did throughout the week and find a way to say, how can I perform better at work the next week? Okay. Once you do that, then you go to the next state, which is the habitual learning. If you want to become better at work, you need to become the best employee that you can be. Meaning it is imperative for you to do the best you can to learn some skills. On the job trainings, if you find some of those, if you find webinars or if you find seminars that you can go and get more information, try to go to those. That makes you more versatile. It makes you more promotable. It makes you that much more of an employee that says, you know what? I got a lot of skills to bring to the table. I'm very versatile. I can move when you need me to groove. I can sway when you need me to parlay. You know what I'm saying? So I could do what you need me to do. Whatever it is, I got you, homie. Constantly doing the habitual learning allows for you to do that. Digital detox. This is for the eye. Reclaiming your evenings. I know this one's going to be tough. This one's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. Indulging in a digital detox. Oh, man. I know it's tough because you want to come home. You just want to do nothing but kick your feet up and watch some Netflix. I know, I understand. Or if you're like me, you want to kick your feet up and play some video games. You want to play in VR. You want to just watch some YouTube. You want to just go on a TikTok, but you want to shut your brain off for the day. I understand. But if there are more imperative things that need to be done, unfortunately, you cannot do that just yet. You have personal projects that need to be done. Coming home and working on those personal projects, that will give you the time to go ahead and do that. You want to spend time with family instead of coming home and scrolling through TikTok or Instagram all the time. This is your time to bond with family because now you're home. You're done with work for the day. Feedback acceptance with the F in shift. Most jobs have performance reviews, but what you can do is ask for a more routine performance review. Talk to your manager and say, hey, can we have a monthly meetup or a bi-weekly meetup where we talk about what's working, what's not working, what can be improved. And we can see where we go from there. How can I be a better employee? What skills should I be able to learn? I'm looking to try to get promoted. I'm looking to try and just try to get feedback. Where do you see that I'm pretty strong in? Where do you see that I can improve in? And honestly, actively listen. I talked about active listening before. Actively listen and really take it to heart. Again, as I said before in this episode, it's going to be tough, because there's going to be some people who are not going to be responsible and take it to heart and just kind of just tell you like it is. But it's up to you to parse through that information and find out what works. And again, trusting your word for the T, this just makes you dependable. When you say you're going to finish that project, finish that project. If you say you're going to send off that report, send off the report. If you said you're going to meet them across the way for lunch, meet them across the way for lunch. This just makes you seem like a dependable person. And they're probably not going to say, wow, you're so dependable. Wow, I can really trust you to do a whole bunch of stuff. They might not say it, but their actions will prove it. Let's take a step back even further. Students, how does shift work for you? Structured reflection. Dedicate some time each week to review what you've learned, what you've accomplished, what you've achieved. specifically, this is not about the grades. Okay, you can look at the grades, but this is not specifically talking about the grades that you get, but rather understanding what study methods work for you and how you're able to handle your stress and handle your deadlines. So work on the reflection. Look at what worked. Did studying this work? Did how I study allow me to get the grade that I wanted on the test? If not, time to pivot. If it did work, let's keep doing what works. Habitual learning. This goes beyond the coursework because it's kind of hard to kind of habitually learn when you're in class, in my opinion, because you just kind of have to do what's given to you, but work on stuff outside the class. That part is the habitual learning. Because in class, you're just going to learn the theory and do a couple practice examples, get some homework, and call it a diddly done day. What you want to do is also continually to seek out some more knowledge. Look for opportunities that lie in your interest. If you like engineering, find some engineering clubs, some engineering societies. Go ahead and build cars or go ahead and participate in seminars. Go ahead and go to conferences. The world's your oyster with this one, okay? Find some after school activities, some extracurriculars, find some clubs. It doesn't even have to be related to the school. Find some stuff that you like to do that relates to what you want to do and learn. Remember what I said in the beginning of the episode? Piece by piece, 10 pages a day. It doesn't have to be crazy. It could be one seminar or one conference, maybe a quarter, maybe one conference a year, just to get your feet wet. But to say you have that experience and to learn something, you never know what you're going to find. Digital detox. This one's going to be real tough for you students. I already know. Because when I was a student, it was real tough. I guarantee you, all the time when I was walking through college campus, head down, scrolling through Instagram, scrolling through my phone. Oh, that's a cool meme. Like, going there. Oh, that's a cool meme. Like, get into class, sit down, don't even look at the people next to me, type it on the phone, Instagram up. It's pretty tough for digital detox because you want to be able to relieve that stress whenever you can. I'm not saying get rid of it for you students. If you can, then fantastic. You can find something else like working out or going for a walk or finding some other way to spend your time. Fantastic. Go ahead and do that. But if for some reason you just say, I just cannot, no matter how hard I try, okay, don't kill yourself. Okay, I'm not saying force yourself to do it. Don't kill yourself. Set boundaries, set time limits. I've made this a point in a past episode before. Set a 30-minute timer. Put a time on your calendar to just say, I'm only going to scroll on TikTok for 30 minutes. I'm only going to go on Instagram for 30 minutes. And when the timer goes off, cut it. You're done. But this is up to you. You can set the 30 minutes and just keep scrolling for 35, 40, 45, but you're really only hurting yourself. That's all you're hurting. If you really want to change that badly and the emotional why is strong enough, you're going to limit it to that time range that you said you were going to limit it to. Otherwise, it just sounds nice. It's like a New Year's resolution you're going to break by January 2nd. It just sounds nice and you're not going to get anywhere else with it. So it's up to you with the digital detox. Feedback acceptance. This one's pretty straightforward. Especially if you are in college, secondary education, or anything like that. You can seek out feedback from your professors, from your peers, from your mentors, your TAs. You can go ask questions from mentors or like faculty, staff members. Ask questions to them. Any projects that you have, go ahead and ask questions about the projects. Don't be afraid to ask, hey, how is this project that we're working on right now? How can this be utilized in the field? What is the real life application of something like this? Because obviously the person who's teaching has the experience. That's why they're in the position that they're in. So you would be remiss to make the same mistake I did and just breeze through college and talk to almost nobody. So I'm telling you from experience, it would have been way easier for me had I just asked a bunch more questions. So I'm telling you, so you don't make the same mistake I did, ask some questions. Don't act like you know it all because you don't. There's a reason why they are teaching you and you're not teaching them. If you were teaching them, then we'd have the tables flipped. But the reason why they're teaching you is because they were able to study the concept that you are learning and because that means they have more knowledge than you. So therefore, you are learning the knowledge that they have, so utilize them. Promise you I'm not a speed rapper. So finally, trusting in your word. When you commit to a group project, a meeting with your mentor, social event, make sure you follow through, guys. Don't be that person who's just going to be like, oh, we're going to meet here at 6. And then it's 6 o'clock. And then it's like, where's Keith? Oh, man, Keith usually come late. Of course, Keith come late. We're just going to leave. We're going to text Keith. If he ain't here in the next 5 minutes, we're going to leave. Now you got a bad taste in your mouth. Good job, Keith. Look what you did. You should have been there at 6. If you set the timer, and you set the calendar event. Hey, I have an event with my friends from 6 to 8. Put it in the calendar with a 15-minute reminder. You leave once the 15-minute reminder goes off. Boom, you're there. You do that habitually, and now you are a person who keeps your word. See, these concepts are so simple, but the hard part is doing them over the long haul. I can keep going with more examples because I actually have more examples written down here, but I'm going to stop here because I think you get the point. You can utilize SHIFT, which is, once again, structured reflection, habitual learning, indulge in a digital detox, feedback acceptance, and trusting in your word. Use those 5 steps, and that way you'll be able to increase your productivity, increase your ability to achieve your goals, seem like a more trustworthy person, and over a period of time, you're gonna be amazed where you're gonna be in a period of 90 days, 180 days, 1 year, 2 years. You will be shocked at the change that's going to be made. Let me know, guys. If you're watching this on YouTube, let me know what part of SHIFT resonated with you the most, what you're going to shift, in your life, and let me know. Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you're listening to this on audio, make a note in your journal, make an audio note, be accountable to yourself. Tell yourself, I am going to use SHIFT in this aspect today, not tomorrow, because these episodes come out at 4 a.m. on Mondays. Okay. So if you're listening to this when this drops, as early as this drops, chances are you are listening to this early in the morning. If not, if it's for some reason you're listening to me at 11:30 at night, oh, that's fantastic. I'm glad I can lullaby you to sleep with my lovely voice. Write down or tell yourself something that you're going to do tomorrow that utilizes the SHIFT perspective. If it's early, find something you can utilize to shift today. That's your homework. Catch you in the next episode. Peace. And guys, that's going to wrap up this week's episode of Motivate, Grind, Succeed, the podcast. Guys, again, if you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe to the show for weekly uploads. If you love what you heard, be sure to sign up for that email list. And if you hated what you heard, be sure to share it with somebody who will appreciate it. Also, if you guys want to get access to the show notes or any kind of resource or link or to anything that was referenced in this episode, be sure to check out that episode description below. You'll also find the contact information, any freebies, or any sort of thing from our little corner of the internet. Check out the episode description. It's going to be an absolute gold mine for you guys. Until next time, take care, and I will see you in the next episode.